Hey everyone, Mitch coming in from the Command Score studio. Welcome to the show, and welcome to a very exciting Break the Bank. Now, like other Break the Banks, I will remind you, please, if you haven't seen the actual deck tech first, make sure you go check that one out. It was probably my most recent episode that came out, so make sure you go check that one out. Should be pretty easy to find, and I'll probably link it right here as well. But yeah, if you've seen that already, let's continue. So, today's episode, like that one, comes to you courtesy of Garen, who's been supporting this channel as a Golden Pig tier patron, and I truly can do this without the support from amazing patrons like Garen. So again, Garen, thank you so much. And as a quick reminder, that episode and this one are built around Kenrith, the Return King, with Door to Nothingness as the actual focus, making it as competitive as possible, while also focusing on the door. And with, again, deck techs like this, with Break the Banks like this, we are upping that budget all the way up to $100. Now, a quick reminder with Kenny. Kenny the Return King is a Swiss Army knife of a commander that can do a lot of things. A 5/5 human noble for 4 and a white that says, pay a red, all creatures gain triple and haste all have turn. Pay 1 in a green, put a counter on target creature. Pay 2 in a white, target player gains 5 life. Pay 3 in a blue, target player draws a card. Pay 4 in a black, put target creature card from a graveyard on the battlefield under its owner's control. So yeah, Kenny can do an incredible amount of powerful things. A Swiss Army knife again as a commander essentially. And yeah, this deck is built around, though, a very specific card. Kenny can win in other ways, but the real star of the show is actually Door to Nothingness, which of course was the golden pig of the deck. And a quick reminder, an artifact for 5 that enters battlefield tapped. By paying double Wooburg, you can tap and sacrifice it, and target player loses the game. So a very powerful effect, obviously, one that we can really utilize with Kenny by, finding a lot of ways to gain a lot of card advantage, a lot of ways to ramp, a lot of ways to get ahead of our opponents, and a lot of ways to, well, distract our opponents from the real focus of this game, the real focus of this deck again, which is to get out Door to Nothingness, take out our opponents, and of course we've got ways to actually get it back as well to do it again. Now, when it comes to our upgrades for the deck, let's talk about those first, and there are some fantastic ones again with this upgraded budget, all the way up to $100. First up, and yeah, definitely the most expensive of all these upgrades, the one that can really help us out, though, with a lot of things. Let's talk about Amulet of Vigor, an artifact for 1 that says, whenever a permanent enters the battlefield, tapped under your control, untap it. Again, on the text on Door to Nothingness, the first thing it says is it enters the battlefield tapped. So, by making it, just for the single mana to get Amulet of Vigor out, we can ensure that, well, we can actually utilize Door to Nothingness right away. And yeah, 15 mana might be a lot to do that, but of course we've got an absurd amount of ways to ramp with this deck. And again, like I mentioned in that deck tech, Kenny has a lot of ways that it can help us as well by getting certain creatures out again and again and again, potentially to ramp us further and further and further. And yeah, just utilize a massive amount of ramp spells to get ahead of our opponents. And Amulet of Vigor, of course, with those ramp spells, also has those lands, that would come into play tapped, have them into play untapped. So yeah, there's a lot of different things that can really help out with Amulet of Vigor, especially Door to Nothingness. So yeah, it's a great addition to this deck. Next up, speaking of a great addition, let's talk about Word of Invention. X blue, improvise, so our artifacts can help cast it. Search life for an artifact card, converted mana cost extra less, put on the battlefield, then shuffle your library. Even if Door to Nothingness does come into play tapped, this can help us, though, by, again, paying 5 into that X, go tutor out Door to Nothingness at instant speed, get it into play, and surprisingly, well, surprise our opponents, and yeah, next turn, untap, utilize that door, take our opponents out. And of course, if you already have the door, sure, you can go tutor for, again, something like, that Amulet of Vigor or whatnot. Speaking of tutoring options, though, let's talk about Wargate. Sorcery for X, green, white, blue. Search life for a permanent card, converted mana cost extra less, put it in play, then shuffle your library. So basically, yeah, again, whatever amount of mana you need to put on that X to go get whatever permanent you need, do so. And yeah, it might be that Door to Nothingness for 5 mana. That seems like a great deal. And again, we've got plenty of ways to actually ramp in this deck. So 8 mana for that is going to be absolutely nothing for us. And of course, there are other great permanents we can tutor for as well. There's a lot of great creatures with great ETBs that we can utilize as well, depending on the situation that we're in. Next up, Planar Bridge. This can be a massive play for us. A legendary artifact for 6 that has pay 8, tap search life for a permanent card, put on the battlefield, then shuffle your library. yeah, our opponents might not be expecting the door when we utilize this. But again, like Word of Invention, right before our turn, we can basically tutor out that door, get it right into play again. Doesn't matter if it enters the battlefield tapped in that situation, because we're going to be able to utilize it right after we untap and take an opponent out of nowhere. So this can be a very, very impactful card. And again, it can tutor for other things, ways to potentially get that door back so that we can do it again. Even ways to get that door right back out into play, and our opponents might not be expecting that. Moving on, though, Final Parting, a great tutor for this deck, just outside of our normal budget range of $1. I think this is like $1.10 or so, but yeah, a great addition. Sorcery for 3 black, search life for 2 cards, put one in your hand, the other in your graveyard, then shuffle your library. So, again, with Kenny, one of its abilities is, getting a creature out of your graveyard. So, just, tutor for the card that you need, get it in your hand, maybe it's the door, get another creature, into your graveyard, essentially, and utilize it with Kenny. Sometimes even, basically cheating on its cost, getting it for less. So, yeah, Final Parting is a fantastic tutor that we can really utilize with a deck like this. Next up, a creature, speaking of great creatures, that we can really utilize with Kenny, Zerta the Dawnwaker. 3/3 Elemental Fox for 1, Boros. It has Companion, but we're not utilizing it as a Companion. Abilities you activate that aren't mana abilities cost less to activate. This effect can't reduce the mana, and that costs to less than 1 mana. Pay 1, tap, target creature can't block this turn. Now that not blocking is nice, but the important thing here is this makes Kenny's abilities cost 2 less to activate, which can be huge. So yeah, all of Kenny's abilities, except for the first one, get a discount. This is basically a second copy of Biomancer Familiar in this deck, which, yes, does combo with, Composite Golem. So a great card with comboing or not. This can provide us a lot of value throughout the game. Next up, Heartstone in a very similar way. It's an artifact that costs 3, and essentially it's going to, make the activation cost of creatures cost 1 less to activate. So, yeah, not quite as much as Zerta, and it might help out your opponents, but believe me, it is going to help you out more. And yeah, this in combination with Zerta, this in combination with Biomancer Familiar, all of them, yeah, that's a lot of cost reduction for Kenny, essentially making all the abilities cost basically nothing. So, yeah, a great play with that. Moving on, Lithiform Engine. A legendary artifact for 4. Pay 2, tap, copy target activator triggered ability you control. You choose targets for the copy. Pay 3, tap, copy target instant sorcery spell you control. Choose targets for the copy. Pay 4, tap, copy target turn spell you control. The copy becomes a token. This can help us out in a lot of ways. First up, that first one can copy any of Kenny's abilities for just 2 mana. That's huge, especially with that last one. Again, basically, the 5 mana, get a creature back. Cool, we can get 2 creatures back now for 7 mana. That's great. 3, copy instant sorcery. That's fantastic. Or 4, tap, copy. Yeah, we can copy Door to Nothingness as well as it's coming into play. Get a token copy of it. Utilize that as well to take out an opponent. And finally, we are also going to be adding in a fantastic land, a crazy good land for this deck, the World Tree. A land that enters battlefield tapped, it can tap for a green. As long as you control 6 or more lands you control have, tap add 1 mana of any color. So this can give us perfect mana fixing, of course, which is great with the door and great just overall in a 5-color deck like this one. So now that we've talked about the cards that we're adding into the deck, let's talk about the cards that we're taking out. And like I always like to say when we get to this part, just because we are taking cards out does not mean that they are bad cards. It just means that, well, we are going to be replacing certain cards with, upgrades, ones that might be more efficient or effective for the actual deck build with our upgraded budget. So with that said, the cards that we're going to be taking out are Fertile Ground, Increasing Ambition, Razcast Right, Rewind, Regrowth, Violent Tumor, Vastwood Surge, Brain Spoil, and a Forest. And now with all of that said, after we've gone through all the cards that we're adding in, all the cards that we're taking out, let's talk about the price. And like I said at the beginning of this episode, well, like all the other Break the Banks, this Break the Bank has a budget of $100. We come in right underneath that at $99.96. Keep in mind that with that estimated cost, actually, we do have, basic lands in there at 10 cents a piece. So if you already have those basics, there's some extra savings for you there. Speaking of potential extra savings, you might be able to save even more by buying this deck on TCG Player by utilizing heavily played and damaged cards, because of course, those cards need a home too. And also keep in mind that estimated cost does not include the cost of shipping, which might vary depending upon where you live. So yeah, that's the episode. That is the Break the Bank version of this Door to Nothingness deck. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you're excited about it. And yeah, let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on it. And of course, with all that said, thanks again and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. We also have a ton of brand new t-shirt designs in stock, so make sure you check out those as well. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG Player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.